it seems like the athletic director in the athletic department has been working to do what we've all wanted. But but as fans, we're sitting here like, you're not even doing anything. Coach isn't even reassuring us we're not doing these things. It's like, come on, guys. They're doing stuff, and it seems like they finally have figured something out, and it's the perfect time for it to happen.
It's Mizzou That's Who here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Maggie Johnson, getting you ready to go for Mizzou and Arkansas. And, man, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, Maggie, since the last time we recorded a podcast. Missouri obviously losing to Oklahoma on the road, and then a bunch of stuff in the Eli Drinkwitz saga. We'll get to all that. But, Maggie, how are you doing? How's your Thanksgiving week going?
Good. These short weeks, you and I were talking a little bit about this, but these short weeks are so hard because you have so much you've got to get done in that 2 to 3 day time period. Because on Thursday and Friday, you're doing nothing but watching football. You're eating and watching football. That's it. So I'm just trying to, get caught up from the busy weekend because obviously I was in Norman, which we'll talk about a little bit coming up. But yeah, just getting ready to be thankful for all the things as we should be.
Well, golly, I hope I'm thankful for a Missouri Tigers extension with Eli Drinkwitz coming up because as we're recording this podcast, nothing has happened quite yet. We're also recording this before the Board of Curators meeting, which is scheduled and slated for 3 p.m. on Wednesday. That is an obscure time to have a meeting. I don't think a meeting time that anyone was probably pretty
so mad. I would be so mad if my boss was like, "Oh, I know you're getting ready to leave for Thanksgiving, but it's a 3 o'clock meeting."
A 3 o'clock meeting. What time do you think they first proposed? I want to know what time. Is that the second or third time they landed on, or if that was the first time and everyone was just sure, okay. It feels like one of the times where they're like, okay, let's do something at let's do something later in the day, maybe at 5, and they're like, well, no, we can't really do 5. Let's move it up, and then they kind of settled on 3. I cannot imagine 3 o'clock was the first time it was proposed.
No, that'd probably be my last choice. Typically, if I'm scheduling meetings or something, I'm like 10 a.m., please.
Yeah.
Then you can leave and right after go get lunch. But yeah, no, that's your end of the day. So you better hope everything goes the way you want at that meeting, because that's the last thing you're going to do before, obviously, this game this weekend and then the early signing day next week. So you've got to get all this stuff done and got to get him in place so that that this is your guy going into 2026.
So it was reported by Gabe Yarman, Power Mizzou, friend of the program. He tweeted this out. It was almost 3 o'clock, actually, about 24 hours on Tuesday. The University of Missouri Board of Curators just posted a public meeting notice for a 3 p.m. meeting tomorrow. I cannot tell you the planned content of the executive session, but they just met last week, and a meeting the afternoon before Thanksgiving has my attention. That tweet, I think a lot of people at the time assumed, okay, that probably has something to do with Eli Drinkwitz and a contract extension for Eli Drinkwitz. I know there's a rule that they need contract extensions for more than 5 years, need Board of Curators approval, I think is what the rule is. And right now his contract sits at 2029. So even if it was a 1-year extension to his contract, that would in turn be a 5-year contract. So then that would need to be approved by the Board of Curators. So that is something that is interesting. That definitely piqued a lot of people's interest. And then I believe it was, let me check the timestamps on this, because Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports then added to the report much later, I believe later on in the day, about how Missouri Board of Curators meeting on Wednesday is to authorize the university to move forward with a proposed, not finalized, new contract for Coach Eli Drinkwitz. There are several more steps in the process. No announcement is imminent. Maggie, I don't know how that hit you. I think that we all kind of assumed that was what the first tweet that Gabe had made was for. I don't know how Ross's report hit you.
Well, I'm assuming that everything is talked about between Laird Veach, between Eli Drinkwitz, between the athletic department, and then it's taken to the Board of Curators. They come up with this idea of things that is going to make sense for all parties. And before you can take it to the Board of Curators, you've got to be in that space. And I'm assuming Eli Drinkwitz found some type of agreement that he likes, and that's why it's moving forward. So really what Ross said didn't really change my opinion on it. I love how because of this carousel and there's so many moving parts, right? I thought Lane was kind of be that first domino to fall.
Yeah.
But this changes a lot of things for a lot of teams that coaches, they were looking to hire Drink as their coach. I mean, there's Penn State, there's Auburn, there's Florida. And I'm not saying that any of those, like, he's their top choice, but it changes a lot of things. So just getting this in there early and getting it reported on Twitter, I think a lot of eyes were on it. I put something out. I literally just tweeted, I reposted. I don't even know I don't remember if it was Gabe's or let me see who it was. Oh yeah, it was Gabe. So it was Power Mizzou's post. Use the GIF. Just one GIF, didn't put any words, and it got like 600,000 views.
Right.
And that's just because everybody is so interested to see what is going to happen in this coaching carousel, where everybody's going to land. I'm happy at this point. If he ends up staying at Mizzou, I want him to stay at Mizzou anyways, because I believe Drink could take us to the next level. And I believe he's a great recruiter. And I think he just needs to get some more pieces in there. Yeah. But to not have to be that person that is trying to scrounge up players, recruits, like freshman recruits is what I'm talking about, like in that signing day, because you never know who's going to leave. To be in that position feels good right now, but a lot can still happen but I don't even, by the time that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Yeah, this is really interesting because Ross Dellinger's tweet to me comes off like an agent tweet. It's like the agent tweet sent that out there, like, "Hey, still let people know the door's open. Still let people know that there's a door open," but they wouldn't bring something to the Board of Curators that they don't think that wouldn't be already agreed upon, right? And Gabe followed up his tweet with a quote tweet of his own post about the Board of Curators meeting and said the number of people who who believe a Board of Curators meeting being called means Eli Drinkwitz is leaving is amazing. This is not how
people just. Well, we've been talking about this for weeks. Everybody wants to get upset about everything. They want to see the negative and everything. And I said this a few weeks ago on our show. I'm like, we got to chill out. We've got to, stop freaking out or tweeting at these people because we don't know what's going on in their minds and we shouldn't assume what's going on in their minds. I like what Gabe said, though, too. It's like Missouri football was here long before Eli Drinkwitz, and I'll be here long after. So just sit back, hope that everything is going to go in your favor. It seems like the athletic director in the athletic department has been working to do what we've all wanted, but as fans, we're sitting here like, you're not even doing anything. Coach isn't even reassuring us we're not doing these things. It's like, come on, guys. They're doing stuff, and it seems like they finally have figured something out, and it's the perfect time for it to happen.
Pat Forty also followed it up on Wednesday morning with a report of his own, friend of the program, Pat Forty. This is a request for approval to open dialogue on a new contract for Eli Drinkwitz. The beginning of the process, not the end. I think we all understand that, like, this is a really long process. And with the rule about it being adding another year, because contract's already through 2029. The Board of Curators do need to have, obviously, approval in that. I would be shocked if, like, they didn't have some sort of a baseline plan in place if they were going to the Board of Curators. Like, that would be it's like, I can't imagine that Laird Veach is going to the Board of Curators and be like, can I talk to Eli? Is that okay? Can I add a couple more years? I just thought about this. Can I need your approval. Can I talk to him now? I don't think that is what's happening, right? I do think that this is the first step of many. Now, how fast do those other many steps go is going to be an interesting process to look out after as well. With the holiday coming up on Thursday, you have Black Friday, which is going to be a loaded slate of games. The Egg Bowl is going to be really interesting because
I'm so excited about it.
Oh, man.
I'm so excited just to watch that game. The
implications around that game as well with Lane Kiffin. And then obviously Missouri plays Arkansas on Saturday. So will they have a contract extension announced before Saturday? I don't know. Maybe they already do kind of have the framework, the bones of a structure in place. They get the approval, then they can work out some of that meat over the next couple of days. And maybe Eli Drinkwitz does sign it on Thanksgiving, or it does get announced on Black Friday. And there's a lot of momentum taking him into the Arkansas game. I think perception-wise, Gabe Diarman talked about this on his AM and the PM, and I thought he brought up a really good point. Perception-wise, it is probably important for Drinkwitz to sign this earlier after if they do get approval right from the Board of Curators. like before the Arkansas game, that makes sense for him to sign it because the perception wise, it's him choosing Missouri, not him in air quotes coming back to Missouri because a choice wasn't there. I think obviously perception is king. And I think that if he does get that, it sits a lot better. I know there'll be a portion of Missouri fans that if he signs it on Tuesday, right, that it would be like, oh, well, he only signed an extension because none of his other jobs that he wanted to go to were open, or that he wasn't the first choice at any of these other jobs. And like,
which I mean,
could be true.
I think it's smart of Drink at this point, after the things that have happened this season. I think it's smart of him to be like, okay, let's get this done. I'll agree to those terms, because he was looking like besides Lane Kiffin, but he was he had a lot of options. Those options might not be as viable as they were 5-6 weeks ago. So I think it's very smart of Drink to jump on this now, get that contract extension. I don't think the raise is going to be significant.
No, I
think that would be kind of crazy. I would say maybe around 10, 9.5 to 10. I don't think it'll be anything crazy. It won't be like 15 or anything like you're hearing with these Lane Kiffin type things. But yeah, I think it's smart of him to get it done and to solidify that and be like, I'm your coach this year. I'm your coach next year. When the freshmen are coming in, when the transfer portal opens, everything, like, it's solidified and those guys don't have to worry or wonder.
Yeah, I need to double check this. I was trying to think, and usually when I look at all these hot boards, they have this on here, what the buyout for their contract is, especially if they go to the other team, like another team hires them. I would think it would be in Missouri's best interest to up that buyout for a little bit, so other teams would have to pay. I remember Desiree Reed-Francois, her buyout was like $14 million or something like that, wasn't it? To go to and she
Arizona wanted us to pay it, and we're like, no.
It's like, no, that's not good. That's not how a buyout works, guys. So I think that like Missouri is probably, I would assume, from the Board of Curators administration side, is going to try to bump that buyout number up. I need to see. I'm gonna Google it, because a lot of the times I think it was only $4 million. I want to say $5 million. It's only $5 million, so it's not a lot, especially compared to like how much he's making for them. So you don't really even get recouped a year, because what is he? He's at 9, isn't he? 9 a year.
Yeah.
So I mean,
isn't that crazy? It's crazy that his buyout is $4 million when you look at how Jimbo Fisher's was like 80, and who else was just that? Napier, was it Napier's that was really high?
Brian Kelly's was 50.
Oh yeah, Brian Kelly's,
I think.
Yeah, so it's just crazy to think about how you still have 4 years left on your contract and your buyout's only $4 million.
Yeah, I mean, look, good for the University of Missouri for getting that in there. Yes, okay. The Columbia Daily Tribune, shout out to them. I'm seeing this here. If Drinkwitz takes another job before December 2nd, he would owe the University of Missouri a total of $5 million for breaking terms of agreement. So I would assume the university buyout on that, not on that regard. I know we talk about buyouts a lot in contracts in terms of the university firing the coach, but there is also that, like, the other backwards buyout there
gets fired, yeah.
Right. I would assume they want to bump that number up to like, hey, let's maybe go like what 1 year of your salary would be to 9. And that would make, I mean, in that regard, if he leaves, right, if he would take another job like next year, which is another conversation to have. I don't think if he doesn't leave this year, I think it's going to be hard to think that he leaves ever, right? Like, I think that like it's going to be really like he's in Missouri for the long haul at that point if he doesn't leave in this window with Auburn, with Penn State, with Florida, LSU, with Florida open. I don't think like
Arkansas, Virginia. I mean, Arkansas, where you basically grew up.
100%.
I mean, you've got Virginia Tech, which I don't know why he would have taken that anyways, and now you got James Franklin taking it. Right. But Oklahoma State was another one. I mean, there's a lot of programs that Oklahoma State would be a step down at this point, but a lot of programs that would have been good options for him and would have paid him hefty.
Yeah, it's all the same. I would have been a lot more upset about Eric Morris going to Oklahoma State if they hadn't already announced the Board of Curators meeting.
Same here. He's very high on my list.
I know. I was like, golly, it's like him, Brent Key would have been the other one. John Summerall. Yeah.
Dillingham would be high on my list too, just because of he's been to the playoffs. He's young.
Right.
I think that if we're going after another coach, and I know some of these guys that we mentioned are like younger coaches, but I feel like things are just kind of trending that way a little bit. Honestly, that's why I think I told my friend that is a UNC fan, a North Carolina fan. I think that that's a big struggle that they're having with Belichick and whatever their GM Lombardi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I think that that's a struggle because they're trying to come into this area of life that they've never experienced, and they're just, they're older. That Saban didn't like it anymore, and he's in his 70s now, so you kind of want those younger guys that can really relate to the players, and yeah, that's one of my big reasons I like Dillingham a lot.
Him and the Golish would also be on there, the USF coach. And again, all young guys, all guys that are on up and coming teams, a lot of Sunbelt guys in there. Sunbelt's been pretty good to Missouri recently. Yeah, so I don't think you can deny that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And if Eli Drinkwitz signs a contract extension on Black Friday, I'll probably go live, but probably not on Thanksgiving. I'll be honest, guys. Probably not going to go live on Thanksgiving for you. But, we'll see what all this
happening. I don't see it happening tomorrow, anyways. I'm
no,
pretty sure that Drink is gonna also spend time with his family. So
right. I think if it happens, it'd be Friday. If it happens before the game, it'd be Friday. But
yeah,
did they? Am I misremembering that they announced an extension that he had one time, a Saturday, morning before a game?
Yes, it was the Kentucky game.
Yes,
it was the Kentucky game in 2022 where we lost from the roughing the punter.
Yeah, that morning they announced the extension.
Yeah, and everybody was so mad.
Yeah.
It would have been great if you won, but that game, it was also just such a weird time for to do an extension.
Right, yeah.
We hadn't been even playing very well, and that happens. This is a little bit different. We haven't been playing very well, but it's still a little bit different because you're kind of fighting for your coach at this point. You want him to stay. You don't want to go deal with what LSU and Auburn and Florida are doing right now. So it makes a little bit more sense, but announcing it before a game is still can be scary.
It can be, and especially against Arkansas, a team that has legitimately nothing to lose. And so we'll see. We'll talk about that game coming up here in a little bit. But I was looking, the last time Missouri and Kentucky played was 2023. It feels like it was further ago than that.
Yeah, that was the Luke Bauer. He threw that touchdown pass to Marquise Johnson.
They needed that one. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Remember when we were fun and creative and we ran stuff like that on offense? Those were the days, everybody. Those were the days.
Unreal. All right, we got to take a break. We'll take a break here real quick, pay some bills, and on the other side, we'll be back talking Mizzou, Oklahoma, and then look ahead to Missouri and Arkansas and Rivalry Weekend as well. Rivalry Weekend around the college football, around the nation. There's some good trophies. There's some good games. That Friday slate, Maggie, is loaded. There are so many good games on Friday. Super excited for that. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back right after this.
What is going on, people? Ben Heisler, KCSN betting analyst, and we got some big Missouri news to talk about, and it's not just the Tigers and the Razorbacks coming up, but it is big news because it's almost the state's turn to get in on the game. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State starting on December 1st. Soon, you will be able to experience what so many folks around the country have been able to have. Fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, promos that keep the action going all season long. There is no wonder that America's top-rated sportsbook app is DraftKings Sportsbook. The countdown is on, and new customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day. So, as you're starting to think about that, let's talk about this game, because most people, when they see this line, might be thinking, watch out, major trap ahead. The Tigers only 2.5-point road favorites against an Arkansas team that has been atrocious really for most of the season right now with a total of 57.5. I know it feels like I'm walking right into it, but the fact that Missouri is still available at -2.5 feels like it's the play. We certainly know that the Tigers get up for this game in years past. Wouldn't be surprised if that's not the case yet again. Their offense looked entirely different having Bo Prabula back in action. And I think there's some confidence there. I know that Arkansas opened some eyes last week with their offensive explosion against Texas. They fought, 52-37 type of game. And yes, coming home, maybe there's an opportunity for a spark, but I just don't see this happening against the Tigers, especially with this low of a line. I think Missouri is the right play, -2.5, -3.5 if it ends up moving there. I don't love it as much. So while the line is still good before you get that key number of 3, go ahead and take the Tigers -2.5 for this SEC matchup. So again, here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code KCSN, and new Missouri customers, you can sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we are live. Again, that's code KCSN. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after they're issued. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Looking to remodel your home and in search of a top-quality company to do the job? Contact Elenco. Since 1986, Elenco has been the remodeler of choice for customers throughout Kansas and Missouri. As a family-owned and operated business, Elenco provides customers top-quality products and unbeatable service, straight from their family to yours. From windows and doors to siding, insulation, and bathroom renovations, there's no need that Elenco can't meet and exceed. Elenco only installs products that have proven track records of success, such as the Kohler Luckstone shower system. Elenco's installers are factory-trained professionals who know how to get the job done, not only quickly, but flawlessly. Whether you're located in Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, or a rural town in northeastern Kansas or western Missouri, Elenco will come to you. Go to elencohome.com for more information. That's ALENCO home.com. Again, elencohome.com for more information and contact them about all your home improvement needs.
All right, Maggie, you were in Norman for this game. Thoughts, just general thoughts of the atmosphere and how that game went down in Norman.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Oklahoma in-person fans their props.
There you go.
Very nice people. Very, very, very nice people. And I had heard that, but it's very different from the people that you deal with on Twitter. So shout out if you're listening. I was at the game. Everybody was very nice. Got to meet a lot of Twitter people that I've gotten to know through the years and done some podcasts with and stuff like that. So it's cool. I will say 11 a.m. a little sleepy. They said it was sold out, 83,000. There was not 83,000 fans in that stadium. And the weather wasn't great. It was cold. The offenses are going to put you to sleep anyway, so some people probably just stayed home and slept in. But overall, it's the same game that we've seen multiple times all throughout the season. And it's unfortunate that I've had to be at so many of those games. I think I've been to 10 games this year, and it's all basically the same thing. It's no offense. It's no creativity. It's terrible special teams. It's great defense, a defense that is keeping you in most of these games for the majority of the games, except for Texas A&M, and they still kept you in the game for a half at least, So, yeah, it's just disappointing to go there and every time just think something's going to be different, or every time think you address the issues and the issues didn't seem to be touched. And then you do the post game. You hear the post game press conference, and they're like, "It's on me. That's my fault. I don't like. We need to change this." I'm like, "But how?
Right.
But how?" I understand that you're not going to get a new kicker. I understand that, but you're telling me that Jordan Harris can't block on the edge? Like you're telling me that's not something. That's something that can be fixed and should be fixed. And
right.
It's just. I think everybody's using the word disappointing, and I think that that's like the best word to use in this situation.
Well, I think it's really interesting when you talk about this season. I was asked about this of like, which of the area teams do you think had the most in terms of K-State, KU, and Mizzou, which had the most disappointing season? Because all three teams, truthfully, kind of underperformed for where they kind of expected there to be. And I think Missouri's is so interesting because when we came into this season, I know that I was probably a little bit lower on the team than a lot of people were, just because Eli Drinkwitz was pumping them up at SEC Media Days, talking about how this is the best team he's ever had. And I was like, I don't really see that. Like, that's not how I see this team. Or I still think I had him at like 9-3. I think I had him 9-3. I didn't think I had him at 8-4. Like the expectations coming into this year were they weren't going to, I think I had them winning all the games they were supposed to win is kind of how it came down, and maybe winning one of them that they weren't supposed to. But this game, there's so many parallels with Mizzou and the Chiefs at the same time too. And those are two teams I just watch very closely. So I think I just naturally will draw comparisons to the two teams of like, hey, after every game, it's just like, yeah, we got to be better about that. Yeah, that's my fault. That one's on me. We got to fix that. It's like, okay, I get it. I understand. Like, what else are you going to say to the media? Sure, I understand that's what you have to say. But can we at least see something? Can we at least see a little bit of variation to some point? I mean, that's what's so frustrating with it all. But that game, I went and pulled up the box score, Maggie, because I was like, man, they ran the ball 35 times in that game after people have been begging them to run the ball. Kirby Moore said, fine, 35 handoffs. And sure, Ahmad Hardy had 17 rushes for 57 yards. I think the Oklahoma defense is very good.
It's so good.
Yeah. I was surprised by this. Bo Perbula was 20 of 36 passing, and for 231. I was like, 230 for 231 yards? Like, it's kind of crazy there. A lot of that must have came towards the end of the game and kind of some I don't want to say garbage time, because the only score was 17-6 the whole time, pretty much. But neither offense could really get anything going. I think there were some fourth down decisions to punt, I think, and there was one in like the third quarter where they were close to midfield. It might have been third or early fourth quarter where they were close to midfield and they chose to punt.
On a 4th and 2.
On like a 4th and 2, yeah.
Down 17-6.
Yeah, and it's just, the decision, I mean, you clearly have no confidence in your team if you're doing that. And I understand that like their defense had been doing a lot of things, but your defense can't score points. And like that, it's very hard. Well, technically it can, but it's very hard for your defense to score points. And it really seemed like that they were just like kind of banking on their defense to score points for them.
But you can't, but when you're down like that, you just have to play more aggressively. And here's the thing is, it's frustrating because in the one game that I wish we wouldn't have relied on our run game, that's all we did was rely on our run game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should have taken advantage of their weakest part of their team. I mean, the weakest part of their team is their offense, but the weakest part of their defense, their secondary, you should have tried to take advantage on that.
Yeah.
The problem is how many drops did we have? I mean, Kevin Colvin dropped that ball in the end zone. It wasn't the perfect pass, no, but that was catchable. Yep. Brett Norfleet dropped one. I think Josh Manning dropped one. I mean, and we're talking about these are converting drops. So you have these. It's just frustrating. There were 16 punts in this game. You held an offense. You made them punt 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
You made them punt 9 times and you lost the game. The problem was when they're punting, they're flipping the field and they're flipping the field hardcore. Right. When we're punting, we're giving them the ball at the 45, 50 yard line. That's insanity. At every time the people in the crowd, we weren't sitting in the Mizzou section. We sat in like an OU section, and they were like, have you guys had these problems all year with your special teams? I was like, sure have. Talked about it on basically every single podcast, the same story over and over. We did have one good punt, and that was because it was windy. I think he punted it for 52 yards, and it was windy, and we finally were going that direction. But yeah, just complete disarray on the special teams with the special teams.
And there was a little bit of a stretch there too in this game, kind of when you really felt like, and unfortunately that was in the first half where you're like, okay, this lead's probably insurmountable. And it was, again, a story that we talked about with Mizzou all year where they allowed an explosive play that resulted in a touchdown. Like 57%, I think, of Oklahoma's yards came on explosive plays, technically.
That Satania, however many yards, 70, 80 yards, whatever it was, that's the difference in that game.
Yeah.
That's a third down. That's a 3rd and long, I'm pretty sure.
It is. And he takes it to the house. I think it was like 83, I want to say. This is what I was looking for here. Average drive start for Missouri was on their own 22-yard line. For the Oklahoma Sooners, their average start was their own 29. So pretty much not quite 10 yards of difference, but I mean, man, like that's a huge especially when Oklahoma has a good kicker too. And Missouri,
great kicker. He's a finalist. He's a Lou Groza finalist.
Right. And Missouri has no kicker. Like they've got 2 of them, but both of them are not good. So we watched him chunk a field goal.
The blocking's terrible too. I've got to put that on him too, because that blocked field goal, you got a full hand on it.
Yeah. There needs to be probably a conversation about a special teams coordinator. I know there's already been some buzz online about it, but like a lot of those issues, like I understand that you don't anticipate to have your starting kicker tear his ACL in the first game of the season trying to make a tackle. So sure, I'll chalk some of that up to bad injury luck. And that legitimately has played a role in every single game. I think Cody Goodwin wrote a story about this, about how they've missed a kicker extra point in 7 games this year or something like that. And I had tweeted out before that, like on Saturday, I tweeted out, like, it is a really shame. Blake Craig's injury has played an impact in every single game this season. It's a real shame. And I mean, it's one of those where I think like even against like UMass, they're missing extra points against like Louisiana, they've got a field goal attempt and you miss a field goal. So it's like this is something that I understand is an unforeseen injury. I think that the Blake Craig injuries played more of an impact than Bo Perbula's injury did, or that Sam Horn's injury did. I know a lot of people want to say probably Sam Horn's injury played a bigger impact. I think Blake Craig not being able to be healthy really kind of hamstrung this Missouri offense, because they could get to the 40-yard line and feel okay attempting a 50-yard field goal, right? Like they could get to with either Mevis or if it's Blake Craig, like they felt comfortable moving the football to a certain point. If they get to the 35-yard line, they feel comfortable about that. Now they don't. Now they have to score touchdowns basically, or they have to get inside the red zone to feel a little comfortable of trying a field goal. So I think that really kind of, from the jump, kind of put Missouri behind the 8 ball in the special teams department, and it's hurt them. It's hurt them all year. You got to have all 3 phases to win the game, and they haven't been good, particularly on any of the other phases of special teams either. Like it's all been kind of bad, and so that's been kind of one of the big things as the season's gone along, where it's just like you throw your hands up. It's like something's got to change there.
The momentum too, like not just missing and not getting points, you know, the momentum switch that Absolutely. Those things cause, because that stadium was pretty dead when Mizzou went down and made that first drive down the field and kind of just dominated Oklahoma's defense. You know, took 8 minutes off the clock, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you get that field goal, you're up 3-0 for a bit. And then you have the opportunity to put 3 more on the board. You get that block and the stadium is back alive again. I mean, you lost every amount of kind of leverage that you had over a top 10 team. And I think that's one of the most frustrating parts about it.
Yeah, it was a big bummer. And like, look, I know that like we didn't pick that game. I probably wouldn't have picked Missouri to win that game, truthfully. Just I didn't like the vibes going into it. But with especially how good Oklahoma's defense was, this wasn't a game I necessarily expected. If Missouri to win it was going to be a close game, and I didn't really feel great about it going into that one. So it was one of those where it was like really frustrating that it was the same game. I think that's what I was more frustrated about, that it was like the same like script of every game that Missouri has lost. Like it was the same. that's what was so much more frustrating to me than to losing to another top 10 Oklahoma team. And I know that the drink haters are probably going to be like, well, that's another top 10 team he didn't beat. And they'll throw it on the pile and just completely...
You're not supposed, like, it, that, when you are, we were ranked in, 22nd or something?
22,
we were back, 22, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're top 10, and every team that we played is higher ranked than us. Now, we should have beat Alabama. We should have beat Vanderbilt.
Sure.
But, like, you're not supposed to beat those teams that are ranked higher than you. That's why they're ranked higher than you, especially whenever you have the injuries that we have and you have the issues on offense and the issues on special teams. This is what has helped OU win games all season. It's their defense, because obviously they don't really have an offense either. John Mateer's kind of a bust. Jaden Ott, I don't even know what he's doing. He's riding the pine somewhere. So, I mean, they did more. They had two facets of the game that are elite. We have one elite defense, probably a top 10 defense, an absolute bottom feeder special teams, and a bottom feeder offense. So the team with more good phases of the game, that team won. That's what's supposed to happen in these games. It sucks when you can't pull it off, but it's not like Drink should be winning these games, I guess. I would love for him to win the games.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a reason you're an underdog.
Right. I don't think he was favored in this game. Like, I don't think Missouri was favored. I think every game they haven't been favored in, they've lost this year. Like, that's the thing about, we've talked about it with Drinkwitz before when he's talking about it, but like, he wins the game he's supposed to win. And that's big in college football. There's a lot of college football teams that don't do that. And the fact that they are able to do that, I think, is important. A game that they need to win, that they are going to be favored in, is Arkansas coming up here. Arkansas this year, I was trying to pull it up to see what their record was. I've kind of, truthfully, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I stopped paying attention to Arkansas after they fired their old buddy over there, down there.
Yeah,
but
Pittman.
There you go, Sam Pittman, former Trenton Bulldog. Shout out, Sam Pittman. But I will say, 2-9 for Arkansas. Obviously, not making a bowl game. They got Bobby Petrino right now, who's their interim head coach. Who knows where they're going head coach wise? If it's Petrino again, I will find that to be very funny.
It won't be. I think this is Petrino. This could possibly be Petrino's last game coaching at Arkansas, because you would think that whoever they're bringing in, if he's the type of coach that I feel like Arkansas wants to hire, they would probably bring in their own OC. Right.
Yes. It will be very interesting to see how this game all shakes out. Obviously, this is going to be in Arkansas. This is at 2:30 at Donald W. Reynolds Razorbacks Stadium down there in Fayetteville on the Walmart field. They got Tyson there too. They got Tyson and Walmart on their field, right?
I think so.
You know,
I don't, and probably Hunt too.
Yeah, Hunt. I have not watched an Arkansas game at all this year. I don't think I've had a reason to.
I haven't watched a lot of it. I obviously watched a lot of Taylon Green, like through the last couple of years. He's a very scary quarterback. He's type of quarterback that we typically kind of struggle with. The problem with Arkansas is they have no defense. They are basically Mississippi State with a defense, or I mean with an offense. Mississippi State doesn't really have much of either of those things, but they at least
true
Arkansas. But Mississippi State won that game, didn't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Because Arkansas is they're winless in conference, so they lost
38-35. Mississippi State beat Arkansas. If you're going transitive property, Missouri should win this game.
Yeah, based on every game that Arkansas has kind of played in these SEC games, they're going to keep it close. The problem is, we just need to run the ground and pound, and win that game. Arkansas fans, from what I've heard, Arkansas media, from what I've heard, they don't have any faith that Arkansas can make stops. So, Mizzou's at least going to make some stops. They're at least going to get a couple. They might not stop them on every possession because it is a dynamic offense, but if you can just make some more stops than they can, you should be able to win this game. I think that this is an opportunity for Ahmad Hardy Roberts to have another big day. And they need to
Yeah.
because Ahmad Hardy's a Doak Walker finalist with the other two guys we thought it would be, which is Kewan Lacey, Mizzou Tiger, Mizzou Tiger legend Kewan Lacey,
Was the Missouri Tiger, yeah,
and St. Louis legend Jeremiah Love. This is a Missouri somehow connected pack of these Doak Walker finalists. I think Love has the name recognition that everybody's kind of looking for, you know. I think Kewan Lacey has that like all eyes on Ole Miss. Like they're both of those players are going to be in the college football playoff. But there's no reason that Ahmad Hardy can't have a big day and at least, you know, say this is why I'm here and I deserve to win.
not Kewan Lacey. A big day from Ahmad Hardy could maybe put him over the top here, especially when you talk about yardage wise or just him making a couple highlight plays of guys not being able to tackle him, because as we have already talked about, that Arkansas defense is not interested. That is not interested in playing football pretty much when you look at it. Last time out, they went up against Texas. They lost 52-37. They did almost beat LSU on the road, which that was kind of fun. That was a day game in LSU. I didn't know that was possible. They could play before sunset.
So, friend of the podcast, Chris Marler, posted something on his about LSU and like there not being like fans in the stadium, and it was like light out, and I was like, there's too much daylight for this to be LSU. I don't think that this is gonna be an LSU game.
It's AI. And look, they were scrappy against A&M too. A&M pulled out a win, had to pull out a win in Arkansas against them, but who knows if like they've got no juice left. It's like the end of the season, or maybe they do have juice for old Bobby P, and they got to play for Bobby P in this one. I looked up, our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook have Missouri as a 2.5-point favorite on this one. Pretty close line. If I had 2.5 there for Mizzou, if they're gonna get it done, it's probably gonna have to be getting it done on the ground, as you mentioned, with Ahmad Hardy. I did want to read his Doak Walker. He was the finalist, as you mentioned. This is the they've had 3 in the past 5 seasons. Tyler Beatty in 21, Cody Schrader in 23. He did Hardy's second nationally in rushing with 1,403 yards and 4th in rushing touchdowns with 15, leading all finalists in rushing. He has ran for over 100 yards on 7 occasions to go along with a pair of 250-plus yard games and a 300-yard performance, just the 6th in SEC history. So, obviously, Ahmad Hardy's resume looks very good when you put him up against the other Doak Walker finalists there. And shout out to, I believe, running back coach. Curtis Hooper was named a finalist for the running back coach award as well.
Broyles, yeah. Which he deserves because, like you just said, 3 finalists in 5 years at the University of Missouri. It is insane. It's honestly crazy. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to play for a coach like that if you're a running back.
Absolutely. It makes all the sense in the world. So Missouri will play on Friday. As we mentioned at the top of the show, Maggie, the Friday slate is absolutely loaded with good games.
I'm going to pull it up right now.
Yeah. So the Friday slate has obviously the Egg Bowl in it, and the Egg Bowl is going to be a big attention, I think, for Missouri fans, and especially with the whole Lane Kiffin storyline going into it as well. Because where will Lane Kiffin go is going to be the big thing that everyone's going to be talking about this week, and your family's probably going to be asking you about it this weekend as well, as we are getting rocking and rolling here. I love a good Black Friday game, and I kind of wish that Missouri and Arkansas still played on Black Friday, Maggie.
Me too.
I don't know.
Well, the Egg Bowl used to be on Thanksgiving,
right? I think
they pushed it back.
Well, I think the NFL added a game too. The NFL added a game on Thanksgiving, so then they NFL just keeps trying to take days away. They do that pretty soon. The NFL, like in January, they play their games on Saturdays. I'm like, yeah, come on, man, it's my day. It's ridiculous. Iowa, Nebraska is at noon. Oh man, they got Navy at Memphis on Thanksgiving. I didn't see that. That'll be an interesting one to watch at 7:30. Iowa, Nebraska is at 11 a.m. I'm looking at this in Eastern time again. And then you'll have Ole Miss, Mississippi State. That the Egg Bowl will be at 11 a.m. Utah at Kansas. Oh, gosh, Kansas. So sorry.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech is at 2:30. Indiana at Purdue is at 6:30. Texas A&M, Texas is at 6:30. Arizona State is at 8. So all day you got really good games on that Black Friday. I'm really excited for that day.
Yeah, I'm excited too. You just never know what can happen in the Egg Bowl, especially with that being a home game for Mississippi State, and obviously they're completely outmatched. I don't even know what the spread is. Ole Miss -7.5. I would think it'd be closer to 10. I think Ole Miss is a lot. I think Ole Miss is a lot better than Mississippi State, but you never know what can happen in a rivalry game, and that's the best part about rivalry week. Last week sucked. Like we played Oklahoma because we played all of our easier games at the end of the season, and we had that's a rivalry game for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were playing the Samfords and the Mercers and whatever. So you go from that week to this week, which is just like an epic college football week. So yeah, I love it. I'm excited about it.
I would really be interested because Georgia and Georgia Tech are playing, right? And that's a non-conference game.
Mm-hmm.
What if, hear me out, what if Missouri and Kansas still play on Rivalry Weekend?
I think you could. I mean, you've got South Carolina and Clemson also playing this weekend. I mean, it's not impossible to have those out of conference games, but you know what they're going to do. They're going to move Mizzou and give Mizzou and Oklahoma rivalry week, and they're going to put LSU and Arkansas back on rivalry week. I would be shocked if anything except that happens in the next couple of years. It might even happen when they release these schedules, but I would love to have that game not be September 6th and to have it be on campuses at the end of the year.
Are they playing Georgia and Georgia Tech? That's at...
It's on campuses. Because it was at Georgia Tech. It was... No, it was at Georgia last year.
It's at Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
It is?
Yeah.
It was definitely at Georgia last year because Georgia Tech almost won. It was like 4 overtimes.
Right,
or
yeah.
3 or 4
no, I remember that.
That was between the hedges.
I remember people being upset about that, about them moving it to the Georgia Dome. Well, not Georgia Dome anymore, but a Mercedes-Benz.
Well, that is crazy to think about, though. You think about the amount of neutral site games that Georgia plays. Because they play...
Yeah. All the neutral site games are like all in Atlanta.
Or is it Cocktail Party? No.
Yeah, that's in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Cocktail Party. And then this one. So that's already 2. Like, I think... And then, I mean, obviously, Georgia's likely playing in the SEC championship. So a week later, they go back to Mercedes-Benz. I don't know.
They usually play like the Chick-fil-A kickoff game too, you know? It's usually like it's like always, that's like always in the Mercedes-Benz Dome as well. Which like it seems like they're always playing in Atlanta, which like fine, cool. It's technically neutral site, but like not really.
It's not.
But yeah, I don't know. We looked this up. I was looking this up last night just about like the ticketing and everything. Did you know that Mississippi State's home field is only like a couple thousand less than the Mercedes-Benz Dome?
No.
Capacity-wise? That's crazy.
So that means Mizzou holds more people than Mercedes-Benz does? Because Mizzou's bigger than Mississippi State. Bigger than Mississippi State, they're bigger than Kentucky, Vandy. They're about bigger than Ole Miss.
What is the projected capacity when it gets done?
Ours?
Yeah.
I think 65.
Mercedes-Benz Dome Atlanta capacity is... It's not going to tell me. I typed in capacity. It says it's 71,000 for Falcons games, but over 80,000 for other events.
When did it close off areas? It's like the Rose Bowl when they like put that giant thing over half the stadium.
I guess so, yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Indiana Purdue is going to be a blowout. Texas A&M Texas is going to be a good one. I'll be locked into that one because, again, that's at Texas. You never know what's going to happen in those rivalry games.
And Texas would love to ruin A&M. I mean, it won't ruin A&M's season. A&M's playing in the college football playoff. Like, they are. They honestly, I mean, this is just for seeding at this point. But if you're Texas A&M and you lose, you're kind of like, meh. I'll have to play in the SEC championship. That's another week of rest for me.
True.
That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm like, you obviously don't want to lose to your rival ever, and especially with Texas now back in the SEC, and you know they played last year. Texas beat A&M, so I'm sure A&M would love to return the favor.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if you lose, like, I'd be like, oh, well. And now that might push Texas into the playoff, depending on what other things happen. I think a lot of things have to happen. They're sitting at 16, so
right.
I don't think that they're going to punish a lot of the two teams. Whoever loses in the SEC championship's not going to get punished, things like that. But
for sure,
I mean, Texas could, with a win over number 3, they have a few ranked wins that look good, and you just never know what's going to happen with those other games, those other big games.
So in terms of the SEC championship game, let's talk about this before we close. SEC tweeted out the clinching scenarios for the SEC championship game between Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and A&M. Like, those are the 4 schools that realistically have a shot. Alabama's in if they win. Alabama is the most control your destiny. They beat Auburn. They're in.
Georgia, yeah.
Yes, Georgia needs an Alabama loss or an A&M loss, and they're in. Ole Miss needs to win their football game and also an Alabama loss and an A&M loss. A&M needs to win or they need. Okay, so this is interesting. Texas either needs to A&M needs to win or an Alabama and an Ole Miss loss. So either of those combination of things. Ole Miss needs more help than anybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if A&M wins, Georgia ends, they're both in, and they both win, they're in, and it doesn't, like, nothing else matters. Those two control their. Wait, did you say if Alabama wins, they're
Alabama wins straight up, they're in.
And so it looks like the other team, if they win, it would have to be A&M. They're undefeated. Okay.
Yes.
So those
A&M and Bama
win. Georgia and Ole Miss need stuff to happen.
Yes. So they're your big Texas and Auburn fans this week is what Ole Miss and Georgia are. Ole Miss needs the most help because they have to win their game, and they also need Alabama to lose and Texas A&M to lose.
Oh man. Going away from the divisions, it's fun and it's nice to get to play other teams, but it was so much simpler.
very, very, very
when
simpler.
You did that, yeah.
Very
when your division you're in.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy that, like, Ole Miss has never played in Atlanta? A&M's obviously never played in Atlanta, but Ole Miss has been in it a lot longer. So it's just interesting. You could see two new teams in. I doubt you do. You probably just see one new team in, but still,
we'll have to see. Plenty of good football still to be played. Maggie, we'll be back after Thanksgiving, after Missouri plays Arkansas, and National Signing Day right around the corner. We'll have something special planned for you guys as well for National Signing Day as Missouri hopefully beats Arkansas, and we can have a little bit higher, more upbeat of a show. And maybe by the time we record again, Eli Drinkwitz will have an extension announcement. There could be a lot to talk about. I'm just saying, the next time that we record, Maggie, there could be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, let's hope so. And hopefully it's all good things.
That's another thing. Let's hope it is all good things to talk about. All right, that's going to do it for us at Mizzou. That's it for Maggie Johnson. I'm Tucker Franklin. We will talk to you guys after Missouri and Arkansas. I'll have the post-game show live for you. Then we'll have a podcast afterwards as well, looking at National Signing Day and potentially a bowl game for Missouri where they're going to be heading. So we'll see you then.